Well, good morning. It's a crisp fall morning. There's been a real smattering of rain and sun and clouds today, but we're gonna take our chance, roll the dice, do the Eastern Pines Trail today in Algonquin Park. Beautiful trail. It's about 18 kilometers long in its entirety, and wanted to do this trail for a very long time, so I'm really looking forward to getting out on it today. This is Berm Lake, and on my arrival, I think I made a family of ducks very unhappy. And it doesn't take long before you get to the Johnston Lake offshoot. We're headed first for the absolutely beautiful High Falls. I visited that last winter on a shorter winter hike. It's in another video, and I've also hiked this trail in the wintertime in snowshoes. That's also in another video. I'll provide links to those if you're interested in taking a look at them. And a little friend popping by to visit. As soon as I started talking, up the tree he went. This is Johnston Lake, and there are a number of spots here where you can stop and look out over the lake. There's a couple of islands in the middle of it. It's a very pretty spot. Still working roughly parallel to Johnston Lake, but starting to move in just a little bit. It's fairly flat section through here, and as we go another kilometer or two, we'll start to really climb up onto the ridge. As you go around little corners and little climbs, you're quite often greeted by really pretty views. As the wind blows some of the rain out of the trees, this is the Stratton Lake to Johnston Lake portage, and it crosses the Eastern Pines Trail. And now, at the junction where the High Falls Trails and the Johnston Lake cutoff meet, we're going to go towards High Falls, of course. And in the other direction is the trail we've just come down back to Acray, although we're doing a loop today, so we won't be returning on this trail. We'll be going around the other side of Johnston and Berm Lakes. And we've now hit the more challenging part of the climb. for the next half kilometer or so. Varying degrees of steep uphill. Someone's actually put a pull me line up here. That's kind of funny. Almost up. This part is probably, I don't know, 45 degrees, give or take. And success. I mentioned this in my previous video in the wintertime when I was on the snowshoes, but going down might actually be an even bigger challenge. Just because you got your weight in your backpack behind you can topple you over really easily and send you tumbling down. But once you get to the top, there's still a bunch more little ups and downs, but you're pretty much on easy street now, all the way to High Falls. We're heading back down the other ridge now. And this is going to take us down towards Stratton Lake. It's just these little areas in the forest where the sun breaks through the trees. And it's so pretty. You know, I was worried about the weather today, and it might still back up this afternoon. There is a rain in the forecast for the afternoon. Right now it's about 10, shortly after 10 in the morning. The sun has broken through. There's some blue sky and some clouds up there. And the scenery in here right now is really gorgeous. Even if it does rain this afternoon, these couple of hours certainly make this worthwhile. And we've now reached the area where we go down into the campsites. We'll keep on going a couple more kilometers down to High Falls. So this is Stratton Lake from campsite number 1, which I kind of think is my favorite along this shoreline here. It's the furthest away from the trail. It's also just a really beautiful site. It's open and picturesque. It's got a gorgeous view and a really nice area where you can sit here. I think in my winter hike video, this is where I have my lunch, just sitting on the edge of the water here. I had originally planned to come in and camp overnight here and do the hike, but the weather forecast had been so lousy for both yesterday and today, right after Thanksgiving weekend, that I decided not to. Now I kind of regret it, because I think yesterday turned out to be much better than was expected, and today so far is quite nice as well. And as you walk into site number 3, on that little campsite trail that runs along the river, the lake, sorry. And you know, your view from this fire pit isn't all that bad either. Although this is the one where the privy is fairly close. So if you're coming through at a time when people aren't camping in here, like late fall, this part of the trail is actually quite pretty. And you can check out all the campsites. If people are camping, obviously you don't want to go right through their campsites when they're enjoying themselves. But right now there's nobody on any of the campsites down here, so I'm just walking along the side of the lake. And this one is Stratton number 4. And it has an unobstructed view, and it's very pretty. And having seen all 4 of these sites, I'd probably say that even though this one's a little bit closer to the trail, that either this one, number 4, or site number 1 are my 2 favorites. I would certainly take any of them, but I think these 2 are the nicest. So this is kind of neat because I'm on a part of the trail that I haven't walked before. In the winter hikes that I did, I came up just past the camping area on the first one because I had the 5K hike in with the road closed. And then when I did the cheater trail, I got up to High Falls, but I come in the back way. So this is kind of fun, exploring a new area today. And even while I'm taking videos, I am keeping my eyes on the ground. The rocks are wet. I've had a couple of minor little slips, but I'm ready for them. So no big problems yet. But it's rocky and rugged through here. Some of the rocks, though, if you stop and look, are really cool. Lots of rose-colored quartz buried in this one. And this is Stratton 5. It is the last campsite on this stretch of the trail before we get to High Falls. Clearly some people have been doing some bushcraft in here. Not recommended, but hey, you know, it's here, so nice place to sit anyway, nice fireplace. Tent area's a little further over. It's nice to see the forest has this much water in it heading into the winter time. We've had about 4 or 5 days straight of off and on rain. So it's really filled up all these little marshy areas. It's just raining very, very gently right now. And I don't know if the camera's picking this up or not, but they're sparkling in the sunlight. So this little guy just on the edge of the trail is trying to get out of the way and hide from me. And he's doing a good job. That's a good spot for you, bud. Be hard to find under there. All right, done the last 2.5 kilometers to the High Falls Trail. Now we got a little over a kilometer into High Falls. Made really good time. It's probably not quite even 11:30 right now. Be able to spend a couple of hours here. Relax, have some lunch. Really enjoy the beauty of this area. So we got a very gentle rain falling right now as we hit the side trail into the High Falls campsites. I'm gonna wander through here and check them out. I haven't checked out the campsites before. A little duck under here. Whee! This is Stratton 6. After that little shower, maybe 8 or 10 minutes, I was able to get under some trees, didn't even have to put my rain pants on. I'm almost at High Falls. And the sun's coming out again. And here's Stratton 7. Has a very nice view. Stratton 7's placed very close to the trail. And your tent pitch is probably just up the hill a little bit here. I'm not able to see what that is, but there's something out there swimming and fishing. Might be some ducks, but it's very hard to tell from here. So Stratton Lake has an absolutely beautiful view, very small tent spot, unless you camp in behind those trees. One other issue with 9 and 8 is that they are very, very close together, maybe 50 yards apart, if that. Walking into Stratton 9. Oh my, view's beautiful. I guess you've got a tent spot here as you walk in. Walk around to a gorgeous fire pit. Nice look at the lake. And this is the view from the little sort of beach area, if you want to call it that, at Stratton 9. Just as I'm walking out of those sites, if I was coming in with somebody else, I think 9 would be my absolute favorite site. If I was booking by myself, I'd probably want to be in one of the other sites. But I think 9 is the prettiest of the sites, that's for sure. And I reached High Falls. Might be another little shower blowing in. We are supposed to get showers all afternoon. Haven't changed into my rain pants yet, but at some point I might do that. All right, well, from my winter hike, I knew there was a way down to the lower area by the falls here. Just had to find it. Well, I don't know about you, but I think this looks like a pretty incredible lunch spot. This is very cool. I'm about 6 feet away from the falls, and when I put my hand on the rock, I can feel the power of the water. All of the rocks are just thrumming with the energy of the water as it cascades down into the lake. All right, well, it's almost 2:30. Got about a 3-hour hike back, about 2.5 hours without any stops, but I certainly would like to be able to stop several times on the way back. So it's time to hit the trail. And what goes down, if you're returning on the same path, must go up. I'm gonna keep my hands free to finish this climb. The sun has decided to grace me as I'm leaving. What a sight. So I did a little side trip on the Cheater Trail for about 15 minutes. I assumed that it looped back as part of the Eastern Pines Trail and connected with the Bucholtz Lake Trail, but it doesn't. And the Cheater Trail is not really marked on the map, so when I hit the fork, I assumed that was the way I wanted to go. It's not, so I'm gonna work my way back for a few minutes and then decide whether to cut off or just make it an out and back trip. Staying along the lakes is a little quicker. If I go around Bucholtz, it'll take me a little bit longer. We'll see how we're doing. All right, so here's my mistake. The trail loops. That sign says Eastern Pines Acre. There's nothing for Bucholtz unless you go around the corner and then see that sign in the arrow. So that was where I got confused. It would be a really good idea if they were to put the Bucholtz sign on top of that, because it just says Acre. Anyway, all good. So one thing about the Bucholtz portion of the trail, it's not as well traveled, so it's not as wide, not as well kept. A little rougher, a little tighter. Also, very much up and down. Lots of little climbs and little descents. And after about a half an hour of good stiff-paced hiking, I've reached the area of Bucholtz Lake. Just got to go to the top of it now, and then the trail will loop back. So this is Bucholtz. Little rain falling right now. I guess I've got a choice of being sweat wet or rain wet, because I'm moving at a pretty good pace, so I'm working hard. Someone's not real happy that I'm walking by his house. So this would be the Glacial boulder field, which is marked on the map. And it's quite impressive. Lots of really big boulders in here. Yes, this guy is as big as he looks. This is a monster tree. Very pretty little creek flowing out of Bucholtz, which means I'm almost at the Bucholtz campsite and almost ready to turn back and head back towards the Acre Trail. And we're just crossing the back end of Bucholtz now. So there was a section there that wasn't too bad, but now I'm back in the boulder field. And the biggest problem is it's really slowing me down. I want to keep moving at a good clip, so that I can do the entire trail. But I'm starting to lose the light a little bit. And so I'm probably not going to do the Berm Lake section now, just because I got to go so slow through here. It's taken me probably twice as much time to get through this field as it would if I was just walking on a normal trail. Anyway, it is a really interesting area, that's for sure. And back at the connection from this morning. Got about a little over a kilometer to go, and then I'll be back in the parking lot. Had a fairly heavy rain there for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Kind of a soaking rain, but it's not all that cold. And I'm moving, so I didn't bother stopping and getting the rain pants out. Look at Johnston Lake, isn't it beautiful? We're about 20 minutes to a half hour from sunset, and I'm almost back at the parking lot. The lake is calm, just being dappled by a few trout picking up flies or whatever they're getting off the top of the water. Well, almost back at the parking lot. Ready to get the car and head home. Bit of an adventure today with a little bit of a side trip that I wasn't expecting, but that's all right. The feet are very tired and very sore, but I think we did well over 20K today in total, so 20, maybe 22, maybe even 23. So that's a pretty impressive day. And still got the Berm Lake Trail to try some other day. Take care. And get outside and enjoy the outdoors. Whatever the weather, whatever the season. There you go. There's the perfect send-off.